What if I told you that going vegan changed my life, and it was 100% better? However, the start of my vegan journey was horrible. Stay with me, and I'll show you all my tips and tricks on how to avoid all the aggravation. Because let me be honest, when I first went vegan, I thought I had it all figured out. Cut out meat, ditch the dairy, etc., and I'd be saving animals, saving the planet, and be absolutely glowing with health. Simple, right? But nobody warned me about the other stuff. The debilitating tiredness, the non-vegan slip-ups, the really awkward meal times, the hopeless confusion in the supermarket, and the never-ending stress of it all. And that overwhelming moment when I realized I might be doing it all wrong. So if you're thinking of going vegan, or you've already started and feel like something's not right, this is the video for you. It's the video I wish I'd seen ages ago. It's not a list of stats or rules from the hardcore preachy vegan brigade. No, it's the real life stuff. The things people daren't say because they don't want to look like they're struggling. And the public fear of failure is too much to bear. I told you that going vegan isn't for normal people, they say. Oh, get lost, will you? Well, that shut them up. I'm going to tell you all about these problems right now, because you deserve to go into this with your eyes wide open to ensure your success. Stick around to the end of this video, because I'll share the one simple mindset shift that actually saved me from giving up, and could make your vegan journey so much smoother too. Let's be honest, I thought it would be easy to go vegan. I used to think, how hard can it be? I mean, vegans just eat vegetables and use cruelty-free products, right? But here's the truth that nobody talks about. When you first go vegan, your entire routine gets turned upside down, reading every label, asking impatient waiters awkward questions, and finding out that cheese seems to be in absolutely everything. And let's not forget the friends and family who suddenly become expert nutritionists overnight, and grimly inform you that loads of animals get murdered just to make your soya milk. Fact check. That's incorrect. You'll be very poorly if you don't eat meat, dear. Okay, Grandma, how's the knitting going? And nobody tells you how exhausting it is to double-check every damn meal. Or the overwhelming guilt you feel if you accidentally eat something that wasn't vegan. Oh my God, I've murdered all those poor animals and it's all my fault. I thought it would be empowering. But at first it just felt exhausting. To be honest, it seemed to be too much hassle and I wanted to quit. It gets even worse. The energy crash. Yep, that was me. Big time. I'll admit it. I did actually feel great the first week or so. Lighter. Healthier, loads more energy. Then came the mega slump. My energy seriously crashed. I could have slept all day. Even hoovering the house was a monumental effort. I was seriously hungry all the time, and I couldn't stop thinking about yummy cheese. Why in the world didn't anyone warn me it would be this hard? The problem was, I'd stopped eating animal products, but not really thought about how to replace the nutrients. I'd no plan to make sure I was getting enough iron, or vitamin B12, and was eating nowhere near enough protein. Maybe they were right. Maybe we do need to eat animals. Warning, BS alert. Actually, science says that you can get all the nutrients your body needs from a vegan diet. So there. You certainly don't need to eat meat to get these things. But you do need a workable plan. That was one of my first wake-up calls. Just removing food isn't the same as building a healthy diet. In fact, it was a recipe for disaster. Now for the weird part. I missed the familiar foods more than I expected. That one surprised me a lot. It wasn't the taste of meat I missed. It was more the routine. Well, actually, that was a hideous lie. I seriously missed blue cheese. And don't get me started about sizzling bacon. I could have murdered for a bacon butty. Shame on you. Or some hot toast with lashings of salty butter. Or the takeaway chicken tikka masala curry on a Friday night. Or that creamy coffee that felt like a hug in a mug. Or after a hard day at work, all I had to look forward to was a plate full of bland, tasteless, watery veg. Yuck. Seriously, is this it? I absolutely do love all animals, but really? I might as well go and live in a monastery. I also didn't realize how emotional food was. So when people say, you'll get used to it, what they don't tell you is, when? It's okay to seriously miss your old habits. It's okay to feel weird when your plate of food looks different. And nobody tells you how lonely and isolated you start to feel. Have I actually morphed into one of those preachy, hardcore vegans that people avoid? So listen up right now. You don't have to give up great-tasting food. You just have to relearn it, without hurting animals. And trust me, vegan butter and oat milk lattes go a long way. In the bad old days, I was eating vegan, but definitely not eating well. You look peaky, dear. Yeah, thanks, Mum. I thought hummus and pasta were enough. But I didn't realise that they're naughty and weight-gaining if you eat them too often. A moment on the lips, a lifetime on the hips, as they say. Yeah, but they're all vegan, right? but I felt bloated and sluggish and still craving things I couldn't quite explain. To be honest, I felt downright yucky. It took me a while to realize I wasn't feeding my body properly. I was just avoiding animal products. No structure, no balance, no protein strategy, and certainly no plan. I was living off carbs and hoping for the best. And I was piling on the weight, and that made me feel even worse. That's when I started learning about plant-based nutrition properly. Not just what to avoid, but what to add. That was a serious game changer for me. Let's talk about shopping. Before I became vegan, I used to enjoy going to the supermarket. Not anymore. It was a huge stress and took me ages to do a shop. Have you ever stood in front of a shelf of vegan meat and wondered, is it vegan or vegan-friendly or plant-based? What does that even mean? I was paralyzed with indecision and frustrated at my lack of knowledge. Do I want high protein? Or low fat, which usually means low taste? Or gluten-free? Is this made from soya or wheat or pea protein isolate with added beetroot fiber? And the labels? What in the world is E300? Actually, it's ascorbic acid, which is vitamin C. It is an antioxidant used to preserve food. Oh, okay then. And why do they make the damn writing so tiny? Where's my glasses? I was getting teary. Nobody tells you what a pain in the arse shopping becomes. So here's a quick heads up. It doesn't have to be this way. If you have a plan. By the way, vegan is a trademark owned by the Vegan Society. Vegan-friendly means it is still vegan. Plant-based means that it's probably vegan, but always look out for the V symbol, and it should say the words vegan. Basically, my early shopping trips were like trying to cross the Atlantic Ocean, just with a paddleboard. I was totally unprepared. But here's what helped me from going absolutely crazy. I made a list of trusted products. I kept 3 to 5 go-to meals for busy nights. And I stopped trying to be perfect every single time. And guess what? I actually started doing proper cooking. Yay! I wasn't particularly into cooking before. I thought I didn't have the time, with a full-time job and 2 kids that are like a plague of locusts, and a meat-eating husband as well. Oddly enough, the cooking is saving me shed loads of time. Weird, huh? And I'm actually really enjoying cooking now. And guess what? I'm getting quite adventurous in the kitchen. Move over, Gordon Ramsay! Hands up. Who gets this question? Where do you get your protein from? I used to roll my eyes at that question, until I realized I didn't actually know. It turns out I was under-eating protein for weeks. Not dangerously, but enough to feel really tired, lose muscle tone, and feel hungry all the time. Nobody told me that most vegans need more protein than they think, and that not all vegan foods are complete sources. Actually, when I say not dangerously, but you do have to be careful with vitamin B12, because deficiency is not always obvious in the early stages. But it can sneak up on you, and you can end up feeling really poorly. So, get some vegan multivitamins down your neck, while you suss out the nutrition side of vegan eating. Just to be on the safe side. What helped me with protein was combining foods. Lentils and rice, tofu and quinoa, peanut butter on whole grain toast. And yes, I found a couple of decent vegan protein powders too. Let's talk about my social life as a new vegan. Well, I certainly didn't expect to feel like a social outcast. But once I went vegan, some people treated me like I'd joined a dodgy cult. Or worse, like I was silently judging them just for eating their bacon sandwich. Honestly, I wasn't preaching, I wasn't pointing fingers. But I couldn't unsee what I'd learned about livestock farming, and it radically changed me. And apparently, that made people uncomfortable. They're the ones with unconscious dissonance. But we'll discuss this phenomenon in another video. It showed up in the little things. The sarcastic comments, the piss-taking. The awkward silences when I mentioned why I went vegan. The graphic descriptions about what actually happens in a slaughterhouse. Tip: don't do that. Don't over-explain. Just say something like, slaughterhouses are hell on earth, and you can find out for yourself on the internet. Then quickly change the subject to say how delicious the food is. Then there is the sudden lack of dinner invites. Do we really have to invite your vegan friend? It'll be as exciting as a wet weekend in Wigan. By the way, actually Wigan is a really great place to visit, but for a while, I felt genuinely isolated, like I didn't belong anywhere. And what about the utter shame you felt when you mistakenly ate that non-vegan sausage at that barbecue? You horrid animal murderer, you're evil. You will go to hell. Quick tip: inject humor into these situations. Diffuse them with piss-taking back. There's loads of quick-witted, humorous, slightly sarky comebacks that will liven up a boring barbecue, especially after a few wines or beers. Learn them! You'll be the life and soul of the party! We are going to do a video about the social side of being vegan. Watch out for it. You'll love it. It's a scream. Going vegan isn't just about food. It's about identity. And when that changes, it can rattle your social circle even more than you'd expect, if you're not prepared. If you've ever felt that, you're certainly not alone. No, you're not overreacting. So learn these techniques and don't overreact, if that makes sense. You've just become more aware. But here's what helped. I stopped trying to blend in, and I started showing up as me, values and all. But the fun me, the real me. Friends and family started to accept my values. The constant questions subsided. Meals and social gatherings were fun again. Sorry, we haven't got any vegan wine. It's up to you, but I'd say, sod it, pour me a large one. The whole concept is the bigger picture, and that is stopping animal cruelty. It's not about perfection 100% of the time, but rather doing the best you can. But over time, I realized it's okay to have values and eat in a way that reflects them. And honestly, most people came around, especially when I brought delicious food they could try. Here's what I tell the old me. Looking back, I wish I could tap myself on the shoulder and say, hey, this isn't about being perfect. It's about learning, adjusting, and doing your best. There's no gold star for being the most hardcore vegan. They don't help our anti-cruelty cause. Just focus on progress, not perfection. Because once I stopped beating myself up, everything got easier. Food tasted better. The energy came back. And I started to feel proud, not just restricted. By the way, if you're not vegan, but maybe you're thinking about going vegan, or maybe you're already on the journey, but struggling quietly, here's why all this matters. You deserve to feel good about your choices. You don't need to suffer to help animals. And you are not a failure if it doesn't feel perfect at first. This lifestyle can change your health, your confidence, your impact on the world, but only if it's sustainable and based on truth, not guilt. That's why I made this video, so you don't have to go through what I did. Here it is, the thing that saved my vegan journey. I stopped treating it like a test and started treating it holistically. There were ups and downs, missteps, but over time I got to know what worked, what I loved, what fueled me. And once I stopped obsessing over what I couldn't have, I discovered a whole world of food I never would have tried otherwise. Didn't lose anything. I just evolved for a much more exciting adventure. As Steven Spielberg once said, we are not alone, or something like that. Anyway, if you found this video useful, I'd love you to give me a like. And if you want to see more vegan and cruelty-free lifestyle stuff, hit the subscribe button. And please share this video. Remember, sharing is caring. And Mr. Moo Cow and his friends will thank you. It also tells Uncle YouTube to tell me to make more videos that are useful and help other people on their vegan journey. So, what are your vegan struggles? Share them in the comments. We love to hear your stories. Thanks for watching. And remember, you don't have to be perfect to make a difference. You just have to start. Oh, by the way, if you're struggling with your weight, then this next video will help you.